Discovery Forest and the Wellington. If I could go back, I'd never been to this place until 2004, and in 2004 I was one of the people that was very busy working on expanding the Wellington National Park, and at that time we put another 14,000 hectares into the Wellington National Park as part of the old growth protection policy, and that was part of a regional wide package of nearly 900,000 hectares of new national parks and reserves. So there was a tremendous amount of forest protection going on at that time. I'd never been here. I knew nothing about this controversy until I heard from Don asking if I would come and visit here so that he could explain what was happening and what he saw as a problem in it being subsumed under a national park regime. Which I did, and I was impressed with what the Institute of Foresters had in their minds, and I was also very aware of matters of scale, and that's why I repeated those figures that we were putting nearly 1 million hectares basically of forest under protection, that surely we could spare 680 hectares, of which 200 hectares may have trees removed at some stage over 200 years. This was not a radical proposal, and that surely we had enough tolerance of understanding different points of view and perspective that we should encourage the Institute of Foresters to continue with their work here. That was my position, and so, as you know, I got the backing from my colleagues in the South West Greens, people like Peter, and so we went ahead and removed this 680 hectares from that parcel of bills that was going through the House. So I suppose that originally it was kind of an act of respect for foresters and forestry, and saying, well, if you have something that you need to teach the environment movement, this is your opportunity to do that. As it's turned out, I was sort of taking a bit of a risk because, there would be some that would say, well, they'll just clear fell the lot and flog it all off, and that's what foresters do and we can't trust them. I was never of that view because I've known many wonderful foresters over many years. And sure enough, so what we're going to do this morning is go and look at the controversial bit, which is actually about removing some trees, as Don was saying. So although just here, if you go up the hill here, there is an education trail which covers 200 hectares, which has got marked species for school children to learn about the species of the Jarrah forest. And there's another 200 hectares which is purely of passive research. So we're going to go to the controversial bit and see what the foresters are doing there at the moment and what their plan is for the next century or two. So I think it's very interesting stuff. And the other thing that really influenced my thinking at that time was that I had watched many patches that had been set aside originally under the Forest Act of 1919 as virgin Jarrah, and they were square plots of virgin Jarrah that were spread throughout the Jarrah forest as benchmarks, if you like, for the logging around. And over the 1980s, just about every single one of those was logged, and we lost it. And so it just always struck me that the kind of research that you need to do into how trees behave to disturbance, to climate change and so on, you need a long time and a lot data over a long time to really have the records to be sure of what's going on. And so now we've shifted from those plots to under the current system of management, there's something called Forest Check. Forest Check is very good. There's, I can't remember now how many places there are. There's about 50 spots throughout the Jarrah Carry Timber Forest where measurements are taken regularly. That's all very, very good, and one is going to go in here too. The only problem with that is that there is no security for that whatsoever. So that, another government can come along and say, we need budget cuts, so the forest check program goes. So we then might have, 8 years of data or 20 if we're lucky, but 200 or 100 or 50, no. So that's why I think that things like this are so important.